Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Rory Gillis, who will fight on Fight League Atlantic 21, September 20th. Hello, Rory. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Your next fight is actually a really interesting one because your opponent is a really good fighter, really good grappler, and he actually got really a few good wins, including the fighter who later on fought in the UFC. So, if you can tell me, how excited are you that it will be your next challenge?
Yeah, I'm very excited that this fight worked out this way. He's a very talented guy, and he's my toughest opponent yet. I've just been kind of increasing, like getting tougher and tougher opponents, and I think it's time to make the step up and challenge myself with this guy.
And of course, he's got five submissions out of his six wins. So, do you think that in the end he will try to get you on the ground?
Uh, yeah, I could definitely see him trying to get me to the ground. His rear naked choke it doesn't get much better than that. He's very quick when he sinks it in. He has great control. So it's definitely something to watch out for.
But actually, he's not the first grappler that you fought, because even in your like pro debut, you fought against Maxime Cote, really good fighter who also tried to submit you. So probably this kind of experience will help you in this fight.
Yeah, I felt in that fight with Cote, he tried to go too hard for the submission. That was his whole game plan, was to submit me. So he kind of gassed himself out. One thing I'll give Gladfelter credit for is he's very composed. I think he'll try to go for the submission, but if it's not there, he has good striking too, and he'll be in the fight. He's not going to push everything to try to get the submission. He usually picks his times good to go for submissions. So that's one thing that's very good, I think, about Gladfelter.
And actually, it's like really hard for your opponent to try some submissions from the back, because you've got really good ground and pound. So if the like submission attempt will not work, they will be in the really tough spot because of your ground and pound, and you can finish the fight really quickly in this position.
Yeah, that's something I've been working on a lot. It definitely changes the jiu-jitsu when you add some strikes in there. And especially if the strikes are hard, I try to uh, land, I guess, with a lot of force. Some people are trying to control too much when they land strikes. I'm trying to create damage, get reactions when I'm landing strikes on the ground.
And this will be like a big fight. It will be also a main event of the show. So, what's your plan for your next maybe few months, maybe next year?
Yeah, I'm one of those fighters with the classic answer. Like I don't look too far ahead after I just have my opponent in front of me here. But yeah, if I get a win over this guy, he's very good, talented opponent. So we're just going to keep upping the skill level a little bit after that. If I get a win here, we'll look for an even bigger challenge for the next one.
And I think that you are one of the like few main faces of the organization. That they've got really few really good talents, and I think that right now it will be your second main event.
Yeah, it was good experience being the main event last time. Some different nerves when you're in the dressing room, waiting, hearing everybody's results, and you're ready to go, and you got to wait to be that last person to walk out. It's a different set of nerves. So having that experience already and getting ready to be the main event again, I appreciate all the push I get from Fight League Atlantic, and yeah, ready to put on a show and be in the main event again.
And probably this like waiting for your fight can be stressful, because if you are in the first or like second fight, it's a little bit easier. And when you are like waiting all the time, and actually you don't know when you will fight, it probably can be like a really stressful situation.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, in the back in the dressing room, there's just so much stressful things going on. It's kind of chaos, especially that last event. I had three other teammates on there. All of them got good results too. They all got the win. So I knew I was the last one out, and there's a little bit extra pressure on you when you're like you know you have to finish it off and help the team finish strong. Uh, yeah, there's pressure, but there's always pressure when you go into a fight. Uh, you don't want to get beat up in front of all your friends and family, so there's pressure whether you're the first one or the last one. That's kind of the way I look at it.
And actually, you started your amateur career with 2 decision wins, and after this, you only win by a finish, either like your amateur fights or pro fights. So, if you can tell me, did anything like change in your maybe style, maybe mindset that you started to finish your opponents?
Uh, yeah, mostly mindset change. I was in there. I knew I was a good grappler, so I would grapple my opponents. Uh, I was just too nice in there. And then after I got those first 2 wins, then I suffered my first loss where I got TKO'd, and I was trying to grapple. Just the training, everything. I wasn't mean enough going into that fight. And my opponent, Drake Farrell, who's another awesome fighter, he's mean in there. And I guess I learned that from him. You gotta be mean in there, take no prisoners. It's all love afterwards. But while we're in the fight, you got to compete hard, and that's what I'm going to do for this fight.
And definitely, like everybody can see the result that when you are going for the finish, you are definitely able to find it because you finished everybody.
Yeah, and like I said, like the difference in ground and pound, I'm trying to go for the finish. I'm trying to hit hard and get reactions. If you're not hitting your opponent hard, they don't they don't need to worry as much. If you throw some hard strikes, it makes people rethink things, and it changes the dynamics in the fights a lot if you're trying to go for that finish.
And if you can tell me more about your beginnings in overall combat sports, what was the first combat sport that you ever train?
First combat sport I ever trained was after high school. I joined like a university wrestling club in Newfoundland, and yeah, GSP was kind of my inspiration to get into fighting. And I knew he had a good wrestling background, so I wanted to get good at wrestling. And then took jujitsu after that, and then Muay Thai, and then finally started taking some MMA classes. And I wanted to get a fight earlier, but it didn't work out that way with life and stuff. So 29, finally got my first fight, and have just been trying to be consistent since then.
So before your first amateur fight, how much of the how long did you train like full MMA?
Uh, I had trained, I had put in camps to have fights before my first amateur fight. And just the way things worked out, events kept getting canceled. Uh, I started focusing on other things like my career, and then finally came back to it. I'd been training for about a year steady before that fight. Uh, yeah, I was well prepared for my first amateur fight.
And your current gym was the first MMA full MMA gym.
Well, I had trained in Halifax before at Titans. Um, Gavin Tucker, Pat Carroll, some really good East Coast fighters trained out of that gym. And I'd say like the sparring was hard there. It was always good technical advice there too. But that's where I really felt like I toughened up. And then uh, now I've joined at Evolution, and we're creating a really good atmosphere, a really good gym here with lots of good fighters. We got we got Ben Leese is a good fighter, Devin and Matt Swan and Charles. Like we have a lot of good up and coming fighters coming out of that gym.
And do you have like sparring partners close to your size? So it's maybe like middleweight, maybe welterweights, or do you also like to spar and train with either like a smaller or really much bigger fighter?
Well, here in Fredericton, yeah, it's a small gym, so you got to take whatever fighters you can get sometimes, especially in the summer. Some people are on vacation and stuff, so you gotta get whatever you can. But you can Shark Tank, you can make the rounds difficult. There's ways to make the rounds hard. So I'll spar with people a lot bigger than me, and some people a lot smaller than me. It's just whoever I think is skilled and can give me good rounds, I'll bring them in to help me train.
And before you mentioned GSP, who of course is the best one of you can say that even he's the best fighter in the history. But if we are talking about Canadian MMA, in your opinion, who is number two, like the fighter?
Number two, like if we're talking about ever, I would say Rory McDonald would be number two. I really liked his fight style too. Uh, he's just a cold, calculated killer in there. Nothing seemed to phase him when he was in the octagon. And that fight against Robbie Lawler, both those guys, there's not many people in the world that can take that kind of damage and keep moving forward. It was pretty crazy to watch.
Yes, I would agree that he's a legend, and of course he's not like super old because I think that he's like 36, something around it. So in the end, he probably, if he decided to go back to the cage, he definitely will have some really good fights.
Yeah, I think he's still got it, and I know I've watched interviews with him recently. Like I think he's still training a lot, and yeah, I guarantee he's still really good.
And right now, do you like to watch, especially like the big UFC cards, so the pay-per-views?
Yep, I like to watch the pay-per-views for sure.
Like a few weeks ago, Khamzat Chimaev won a middleweight title. And if you can tell me, who do you think should be next for him?
Uh, I know, like, I kind of feel bad for Imavov because I'm not gonna say him, even though he's put together probably the best resume out of the middleweights. But I think it's the winner of Fluffy Hernandez and RDR, whoever wins that fight. I personally would be the most interested seeing it next because they both have very interesting grappling styles, and it'd be interesting to see how Hamzat matches up against that.
And in this fight, Anthony Hernandez against RDR, who do you think will take it?
Really tough fight to call. Like I'm pretty excited to watch that one. But I think Fluffy Hernandez will take it. Just yeah, relentless pressure, which I think will be interesting to see going up against Hamzat, somebody who just doesn't stop in the grappling, and Hamzat, who's known to be tired. Looks like he's cleaned it up a bit in his last fight, but yeah, just that matchup I think is going to be a good one.
And I think that like fighters like Anthony Hernandez or Merab Dvalishvili, they are just proof how important cardio is, how important to pressure your opponent is. Because even if you have some like technical gaps, let's say, you still can break your opponent in like fourth or fifth round.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing, like I think Anthony Hernandez is good at, like he puts that pressure on constantly, and like his output is insane, but he's making his opponent have higher output than him because he's making them carry his weight. He's making them. So if you put it all that, he's managing his energy very well, I guess, in the fight, like making his opponents work very hard, which I think his style is awesome for MMA.
And outside of the fight game, if you have a little bit more free time, even like after the fight, do you have something like hobby or passion that you like to spend your time on?
Uh, yeah, I don't really have too much hobbies outside of fighting. Like got fighting, got work, and then when me and my girlfriend Jenny can just sit on the couch and watch TV, I guess that's my hobby.
And after the fight, how quickly you prefer to be back in the gym? Like a few days after?
Yeah, if I'm not hurt, I'm usually in the gym. Usually take the day off, and then I'm back in the gym right after that. Uh, I just really like being in that routine, and other guys in the gym always have fights coming up, so it's good to help them get ready too.
Okay, Rory, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. I think that it's actually a really, really big fight, and I think that with a win, it will definitely push you forward, and your next opponent after this probably also will be really good. So I'm really, really excited about this fight.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too, and yeah, can't wait for September 20th.